Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to answer the question, does powder coat match oil rubbed bronze, or a dark brown bronze or Duronotic powder coat? How does it match to an oil rubbed bronze finish? Well, the short answer is they're quite complementary, and they can and are used interchangeably. You can certainly have a oil rubbed bronze lock set and potentially have a powder coated a Duronotic or dark bronze powder coated strike. And like I said, they're complementary. Let's talk about their complementary nature first. So this is an actual oil rubbed bronze strike. The base material of this strike, and it does look quite dark, and we'll talk about that in a moment. The base material of this strike can be bronze, which is what they'll call like a red brass, is like the industry parlance for bronze, or red brass. This could also be brass, which is called yellow brass, industry parlance. So the base material of an oil rubbed bronze strike can be bronze base material, sometimes called red brass, or it can be yellow brass. Okay? The difference being is that with the red brass, or a bronze base material, when this wears away and it's part and parcel of oil rubbed bronze to be a living finish, it will change, absolutely. It's not stable. It's the opposite of stable. It's unstable, which is a hallmark of why people want it. It will turn, as it wears away, and patinas with age, exposure, and with exposure to the elements. So now, moving on, this is an example of oil rub bronze. You will see that it is a dark finish, and other examples of oil rub bronze will certainly be less dark and certainly less oily, but this process from this manufacturer results in a oiled finish like this. There's variation inherently in oil rubbed bronze. The variation will come with the nuances of the party actually doing the oil rubbing, the method by which a threshold manufacturer, when they're going to oil rub over a piece of architectural bronze for a threshold, will differ than a trim and auxiliary manufacturer who will use a different solution, it's called. Threshold manufacturer might call it an acid wash. The exact solution / acid wash will differ manufacturer to manufacturer based on their success, their manufacturing process, how they go about producing oil rubbed finishes. Some people will have a more waxy base to their solution because they feel that it leaves a coating over the material, still maintaining a faithful oil rubbed finish, but allowing them to get a bit more durability out of the oil rub finish. You can also have people that will powder coat over oil rubbed, but that will be a very odd sort of variant where it will patina strangely when you've got lacquer over. Did I say powder coat? I meant a lacquer if I didn't say lacquer. They'll lacquer over oil rubbed, but that patina will be odd because you've got a lacquer that will fatigue away, and then the different colors that will come in based on the solution and the base material will creep underneath that lacquer as well. Now, the question of the hour is, how do they differ? Oil rubbed, and this is a fairly generic example of oil rubbed. This is fairly consistent, but won't stay that way at all. This is dark bronze powder coat. This is a very common dark bronze powder coat, very common. This is an incredibly uniform finish. Not only uniform on the piece of material, but uniform from manufacturer to manufacturer. Now, powder coating is a coating of powder over a piece of material, and it is generally the least expensive piece of material that is available to the manufacturer at that time. The logic is, why would I select a piece of raw brass or bronze when I'm going to powder coat? I'll use a piece of stainless that will be less expensive, or even plain steel, and then powder coat over it. So a coating of powder into an oven with the assistance of an electrical charge will give you a fusing of this protective layer. And the only reason that's reflective is because I was touching that oil rubbed finish, and now it's on my fingers. So that's how the two finishes will differ. What you have to know is this. Powder coating is going to be incredibly consistent. Oil rubbed is not what you want if what you want is a consistent, stable finish. People, the opposite side of that coin is people want oil rubbed bronze because they specifically desire it to age and patina with time. Oil rubbed, as far as I am aware, is the only finish that's referred to as a living finish because it literally changes with time. So what you're going to have is certain instances will call for or allow for or demand a specific process. Oil rubbed bronze is far too generic of a classification of finish to give anyone a definitive answer as to what it is, because it ranges from dark gray finishes, consistent dark gray finishes, all the way to a with copper undertones that you'll have underneath it. But the point of the matter is, depending on the base material, whether it's red brass bronze or yellow brass, the metallurgical properties of both of those are a little bit different. The base material, the process used to do the oil rubbed solution work, basically it's dipped in the solution and then it's left to dry, is really how that happens. All of those variables will give you the net result. The takeaway from that is no way to control what this will look like. You want oil rubbed if what you want is a living finish. You might very likely want dark bronze or duranotic. Duranotic is another term used for a consistent dark finish if what you want is a stable finish. So keep that in mind. The original question was, how do the finishes differ? You can see how they differ. This is admittedly a little bit darker. You will see chocolate brown as well, even a lighter brown. Not lighter brown, but between midway and dark, you'll see something halfway between dark and midway. I'm going to put this closer to dark. And this. That's the short answer. Give you some additional information on the process of each to understand better how they go about it. There are some pieces of hardware that are simply not available in oil rubbed bronze and can only be done in a powder coat finish, because perhaps a limitation of manufacturing, or maybe it's not desirable to have a piece of hardware in oil rubbed, such as a latch protector or maybe a door reinforcing plate. You'll see those generally in a powder coat over stainless steel, that sort of aspect. If you have any questions on how the finish between a dark bronze powder coat and an oil rubbed bronze finish will differ, or any other question in terms of hardware, please feel free to reach out to us. My name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. Thank you.